Look who I've got.
Hello, Remy. Hello, baby.
Walking. Hi, Tilly.
Look. Who's Tilly? Oh.
Rem doesn't like being in the arms too long. She's just like, now I've got stuff to do.
Yeah. I'm off. I'm stealing things.
Rose is just intrigued where Dean's going.
Yeah.
That's what she wants to know, where Dean is.
Go away. You're not chasing my hands. No.
Just sharing something for you to have a look at if you're interested. On WhatsApp. That's what I was doing. I wasn't ignoring you.
It's all right. We understand if you were.
I was thinking of you.
You were concentrating.
Yeah, I'm going to give that a go. I don't know, probably be a bit simple for me, but it might be really nice because I respect him. He's a respectable person. You two,
There's a £1 million house drawer on it.
Is there as well?
Yeah, look at that. You can enter for £1 million house.
Really?
Mm.
And what on earth would you do with that?
I know, the electricity and everything was just so expensive.
Sell it.
Yeah.
Dogs, I suppose.
Imagine the amount of dogs in that house.
And bunnies. You could have a whole room for bunnies all of their own.
Yeah, they're really taking up the kitchen all on their own.
Or a whole wing for bunnies.
A whole bunny wing.
You're getting carried away there. It would be like Watership Down meets. Oh, have you seen Peter Rabbit?
Yeah, the amount they eat as well. Like, just
Yeah, healthy bunnies do. It always surprises us because there's SVNs quite often. You only ever see poorly bunnies, and they don't eat. They just don't eat. And every now and then, when you get a proper healthy one in, they never stop. They literally shovel food into their faces, and you think, well, where the hell are you putting that?
I know, because like my buns, they play, they snooze, and they eat. That's all they do. They're not fat or anything, but like especially my little girl bunny Tora, she just constantly, and I mean like literally constantly, is eating. Like the amount of hay we go through, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there's lots and lots of studies on bunnies, and if you want advice, I'm sure you're probably more of an expert than I am, but a lot of people just don't keep them healthily. They need a much poorer diet than we give them, and they do tend to get fat, and they do tend to have problems with their teeth because we're just not looking after them properly.
When I first got Bobbin, I kind of rescued him, but I paid at the same time. I paid to get him, but it was a bit more of a rescue because of how he was being looked after. But it was just like he was kept in a really, really small cage, never let out and everything. And like they just fed him nuggets, like there's nuggets all day, every day, and it was just horrendous. And to start with, I really wanted to open a rabbit shelter, but like, yeah, I don't have the money for something like that.
That's good, but just, if that's the dream, don't shove it away. It's not going to be easy, but no. So one factoid about bunnies: they should eat the equivalent size and shape of hay as their own body size every single day.
Good Lord.
So if you take hay and you squish it into a rabbit shape, that's how much your bunny should be eating. And they should have half an egg cup full of concentrated diet.
Yeah, and then I give them veg as well in the evenings for dinner. So yes, they've got a good berry diet.
Frances Harcourt Brown suggested that fresh vegetables should only be provided every 2 days a week, and that they should only be bought from local fresh stores, that they're not they've not been packaged or processed, that they are literally out of the field into the rabbit, because otherwise the vitamins and minerals are no good. And because of their lack of ability to absorb vitamin D, they have to have access to sunlight.
Yeah.
They have
Bobbins'
to.
ears, they're right by the window. Bobbins' ears in the summer, because of the amount of sunlight, they turn slightly orangey. And I had to look it up to make sure it was okay, but it's fine. But I was like, why is his ears turning orange to start with? But yeah, it's fine.
Anyway, so I might start doing a bunny course. I really enjoy bunnies.
They're nice. They're like, people don't realize how much personality they have. Like, they can't speak, but they really do. And they don't do anything they don't want to do. Like, but it's up to them.
Sounds like Harry.
No disrespect to Harry, but he's not quite as cute as a bunny.
He's,
I can hear you.
he's sat there, Judith.
Oh,
Poor
well,
Harry.
can't go there.
He's gutted now, Judith. He's gutted.
Tell us about your nasty, aggressive puppy.
Oh, don't. I've been so anxious about it. They're fine together. They lay together, blah, blah, blah. I don't feed them together because I'm trying to crate train him. So I feed him in his crate to get used to it and blah, blah, blah. So they're separate. They've had toys that have had, you know, the Kongs that you smear peanut butter in. They share it all. They were really good. And then yesterday, I think he was probably a bit pissed off with the toy. A bit frustrated because it's one of those Kongs that you knock down and the food comes out a little hole. And he was doing really well, but he was getting quite annoyed and revved up. And Sid was pinching what he'd knocked out. So it was all right for a while, and then he just went, and I thought, oh my God, he's 10 weeks old. He can't be doing that. So now in my head, I've got a madly aggressive puppy that I don't know what to do with.
But you've just answered it, haven't you? You've just done a perfect picture of the emotions that would have been driving that behaviour, the picture, the environment that caused that behaviour. You've just broken it down perfectly.
Well, it's only just occurred to me, talking to you, going back over it and talking to somebody, because Harry's like, oh, it'll be fine. It's just talking it out to somebody, and yeah, you do. It's yeah, you're right, breaking it down into, he must have been really frustrated and cross that he'd done all the work and Sid had got all the glory.
Absolutely. And you do know that aggression isn't abnormal.
Right.
Aggression is a normal response. If you tell me that you've never got upset with somebody and sworn at them or sworn under your breath or...
Does it all the time.
Hello, Harry.
You need to have Harry more often. I'm loving this.
Okay.
We just put the fellas in front of the camera.
He won't do that.
So no, I mean, I think the thing is to recognise it is a natural part of communication. What you need to look for is it happening in other situations?
Right.
Or as you've just said, there was really good reasons why it happened in that particular situation.
It doesn't happen over toys. They can tug toys and they're absolutely fine. There is one area, and this is an accepted response, I'm sure, that we have to watch, is if Sid's been a little bit rough and she's caught him and he's yelped, he'll come back at her. So that's down to us stepping in and stopping things before it gets to that stage. Yeah. It's just a 10-week, it shocked me. It's like, oh my God, I've got a devil dog.
Really properly aggressive puppies are extremely rare, and you spot them straight away. They lose their rag at anything and everything. There isn't a specific situation or trigger. You know, they're just ready to blow all of the time.
Well, that's scary.
And but I mean, I must have only seen 3 or 4 properly aggressive puppies. The rest of them have all got really good reasons. You know, they're able
Yeah.
to the specific environmental causes, like you've just, you know, you've broken it down beautifully. That there's a really good reason why he was feeling narky enough to have said something.
He's I don't know if you can see him. He's flat out. He's gone back and like curled up with her and things like that. It was just shit. What do I do? Does it mean it's going to be X, Y, Z? You know me, my mind goes to the nth degree.
And I think all puppies come with a degree of resource guarding.
Right.
They all come from a situation where they've had to compete with their litter mates.
They all had a bowl each. There wasn't, you know, they didn't share, although they did share because obviously they hover, don't they? They go from one bowl to the next. But there was a bowl for each puppy. So it was down to, oh, what have you got? I want that. But that's just the first time, and it was bloody hell.
And it sounds like your breed has done some good work of preventing it. But I mean, if you think about it, it's part of natural development, isn't it? Learning how to sort out conflicts.
And it was all right that Sid just ignored him.
She was like, ooh.
That's exactly how she was. Yeah, she didn't do anything other than I sort of probably reacted wrongly. I sort of said no and took the thing away, and I shouldn't have reacted that way other than take the thing away. I maybe should have handled it a bit different. I don't know.
I think you reacted as a normal human would, and I would probably as well. And you know, I think the thing is to not set yourself up so you're constantly reacting that way, to get in there and do some training. So I would have the same toy out and set up the same situation, but reward Sid for staying away from it.
Right.
Let
Okay.
him focus on it without having to have her.
Right. And how old can I start all this training with him?
Straight away.
Right.
Yeah, straight away. And the thing is, regardless of what you think you're training your puppy's learning 24/7. Whenever they're awake, they're learning something. So you might as well be in there guiding that.
Okay, I'll give that a crack.
You know, just letting it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, joking aside, what a horrible puppy.
I know. Dreadful. Send him back.
Yeah, but I love him. You know, if you don't want him, because I mean.
Yeah, I really think you should get rid of him, Andrea.
Yeah, I know. Do you need him, Julie? Do you need him?
The thing is, now when I'm doing demos and stuff, my dogs are like, "You want us to get it wrong?" And of course, it's much easier to show what to do when they're getting it wrong, if they're getting it wrong. And even Dodo now is getting to the stage where he's going, "Well, I know that you're just going to call me back anyway.
Yeah.
I might as well not bother."
They're like Missy, they're show dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's perfect. I do love that video.
That was amazing.
Brilliant.
I love it. I love that going backwards.
I even struggle doing that.
she's done that for quite some time, and I've been thinking I need to video when she's doing it, and just as we was getting near the car, I thought, oh, get me camera out.
Really good. In fact, I was thinking of setting you all a challenge, because it's massive for us, isn't it, to be able to say, we did this, we helped these people do this, you know, which I'm not awfully good at doing. So, I mean, if any of you've got videos of that you can show off and say, this is my dog and this is what I can do, and, you know, mention me or don't mention me.
This is where I've learnt it.
Yeah.
No, credit where credit's due. You know, we wouldn't be here without you.
No, absolutely.
You'd have found somewhere, you're that kind of owners, all of you, that you would have found.
Julie,
resources.
Yeah, no, honestly, Julie, like, without you, So yeah, Andrea's right there. Like,
Absolutely.
no.
That was my impression of Sid.
She had the what the face on. What the did you said?
Okay, so I've had flu, or what I think is probably flu this week, and I've had to have a COVID test. And the COVID test came back as not being able to be read. So I've got another one that I've got to do today. It doesn't, I don't think I am, but you know. So, prep, 0.
Oh well.
I apologise. I apologise for that. So I was thinking, let's just muff it. Shall we just all, you know, we'll just do some shit. Is there anything that you're having trouble with that you'd like us to look at? Is that Jill? You're growling at Jill.
Paying attention, getting Sid to switch on.
Switch on. Okay. All right. So have we done ready?
I don't know.
Can't remember.
Just got up.
Well, useless. We can't remember.
We probably called it something else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's mute you, and I can just tell you what I mean by ready. So, ooh. If you get there before me, that's fine. Oh, you're already muted. That should be it. Can you still hear me, or have I done me as well? Because you know what I'm like. So, if you always use a start cue, something's about to happen that's worth paying your attention to, then the dog can start to associate that start cue with action. Okay, so I use it when I'm in the olden days when I used to do agility last year. A bit sad actually, because every Monday it says on my diary agility, and I have to delete it off my diary. But so when we're just about to do a run, or we're just about to ask the dog to do a new piece of equipment, or anything that might predict the opportunity for them to gain reward, we say this start cue. So we say ready, and yeah, the Twiggy's here. Come here, babe. She's just gone. What? Come here. Get up there. Can you put your paws up? Yeah. Okay. Good girl. Oh, you're heavy. That's my knee. So we say ready, and ready means there's an opportunity to earn reinforcement. Pay attention, and we'll do something good. Yeah. And it's the opposite of your sort of finished cue. So when you're saying that's it, we're done, the opportunity to gain reinforcement is finished, it's over. Yeah? Is everybody with me? All right. So how do you practice it? Well, basically, you do what I've just done with Twiggy, and you say it, and then you immediately go into actions that are going to offer them opportunities to gain reinforcement. So we could practice it just by doing stuff that they already know. So because they've all switched off to you at the moment, because you're all busy listening to me, what you could do is say ready and get up and go and get your treats and ask them to do a sit down sit, stand down stand, because we still do that, don't we? Yeah, sit down sit, stand down stand. And don't laugh at me, because I can see you, Leanne, saying I haven't practiced that for ages. Let's do that. So you just stand and say, you ready? And we stand. And what should happen, remember Maggie's deaf, so she hasn't actually heard it. I've said that cue. Opportunity to earn reinforcement. Sit. Come here. Sit. Down. Sit. Stand. Down. Stand. Don't get flat. She's laid all the way down. Come here. Yes. Yeah, all done. Go lay down. All right. I don't know how good your camera angle is. They've got, I didn't move their beds. So you would cycle between sending them off with your finished cue, giving them a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a space, telling them that you don't need them anymore, letting them properly settle. And then you need to show with your body language as well that you're not interested in them. So you switch off to them as well, because otherwise they're going to carry on trying to re-engage you. So you can give them a relaxed cue. If you've trained to settle, go and tell them, go and settle down. I needed to tell Twiggy, go and lay down. Yeah. And then when you're ready to re-engage, you start with ready. Or are you ready? So we're asking, are you prepared to work with me? And then we can do these actions which give you the opportunity to gain reinforcement. And then you can switch them off again. Oh, lovely rollover. Love it. And once you've practiced this, Jill, you should be able to send her away with your finished cue when she's barking. So it's a case of practice. That finished cue should tell her, whatever you're doing right now, you're not going to gain reinforcement from it. But it does mean, and I know she really sticks to her guns and she really pushes it, but it does mean you have to be absolutely clear. Once you've said you finished cue, you really are not available. There's no point, no matter what she does, reinforcement is not available. That's reinforcement by attention or by play or by food. It's not available. And obviously you need to use a really good gap after you've sent them away. Otherwise they're just going to believe that this cycle is going to happen. If we're going to practice a finished cue, we need to give it enough time for the dog to actually believe that you meant it. So one thing I did notice just now that we can have a look at is the stand. We can use a little bit of positive pressure, physical pressure, to make the stand fancier. All right. So this is an Ian Dunbar kind of thing. He's got some notes somewhere from the olden days. So if I get Twiggy into a stand, and for this, for her, the easiest way is to have her sort of extended hand touch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply pressure. Yes, to see if I can push her out of that stand position. I want her to fight against me. I want her to push against me, to actively avoid stand. So I'm pressing quite hard. Oh, stand. Good girl. Very nice. Very good. All right, so how do you start that? Well, the first thing is if your puppy hasn't got a really solid stand, come here, lure in the hand. So I'm keeping her nose on my hand because I'm luring. And if they tend to sit as you touch them, I want you to, let's move here a bit. If they tend to sit as you touch them, just give them a little touch underneath the belly. So a little press. If they start to sit, little push underneath the belly. That's what I want you to do to begin with. And I want you to tell them it's a stand. And I want you to be very careful where you mark. And when you're reinforcing, be very careful about where your food goes to. So this is a really nice little handling exercise as well, because if you think about it, when the vets are touching them and fiddling about with them, a stand position is a really useful position for examining a dog. And you could do them like little show dogs if you like, if you want to get really fancy with it. You could set them up on a table and put all their feet nice and square so that they're on show. You could straighten their legs up and put their feet in perfect position and have them learn to hold their heads really, really straight in a show position. And the show judges are going to do these behaviours. You know, they're going to run their hands down the dog and they're going to put their hands underneath their bellies. And you can also do fancy things like pick up their tail and pull their tail up into show position as well. And then that's a really handy position for taking temperatures, for sticking thermometers up bottoms. So it's a handy thing for them to learn to do. Now, if they're avoiding your hand like Jill, she's worrying, what I would do is I would back off a bit, all right? So keep your dog, come here, darling. So keep your food on, but rather than going for the full touch, just do a hover and then reward. Hover and then reward. So if you hover too close and she's tending to move her body away, then take it even less. So you could start with just a little thumb wiggle. That's it, and pay there while she's still before she moves. Yeah, so mark and take. So we do a little hover, yes, and reward, and eventually you can start a little touch, yes, and reward. So we're looking for stillness, and we're marking that stillness and slowly increasing what we expect to be allowed to do and building up to that really strong pressure on the back and having them push back against us. And if they're getting it and they're understanding it, you'll feel them almost try and raise their back end up. Hello, darling, go on, speak to me. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah. I can't stop Missy from licking my hand, and then she starts getting excited because she's licking my hand.
All right, and is that when there's food in it or just when it's the touch?
No, just when I put my hand out to touch, she just lick, lick, and then she gets excited.
What we can do for her then is, instead of having the hand actively in touch with the nose, have the hand a tiny bit of a distance and mark and reward for looking towards rather than touching.
Okay.
Right? So come here, Twig, let's see if you remember this. Come here. So we're going to hold it. She's forgotten. Come here. Yes. So before they move forward to touch the hand. Yes. Yes. So it's when you mark, we know that, don't we? It's when we mark, it's going to inform the dog what it is that we want. And if the licking's bothering you, mark for looking at rather than touching.
Does it matter if they lick and nibble at your hand?
Everybody's got their own preference. I don't think it does. Dodo's a real big, you know, my hand's absolutely disgusting when I'm working with him. But Twiggy never has really, but then she's always been a bit more conservative about her touch. So she doesn't really like, she didn't really like being touched in general when I first got her. Look at her now. Ear massage. Judith's lost her signal, so I hope it's just Judith and not me. So you would go back to marking. Yes, that was a nice one, Maria. So if it did bother you, no, it doesn't matter. You know, if it doesn't bother you, it doesn't matter. But if it bothers you, train your dog what you would prefer them to do. And obviously the ways that we inform the dog what we like are by marking at the right time and by putting the reward in the right place. Okay, so to get the stillness with that, Maria, what you might like to do then is combine it with some sort of position marker, so a mat or something. So you teach her when your paws are on the mat and you're looking at the hand. So that's going to stop her wanting to move forward. Okay, and remember, if your dog keeps saying that's too hard, then we need to back off and do it a little bit simpler. So you're getting a little bit more stillness now, Jill. A little bit more working with you. So your dog standing still and allowing you to touch them, we can call that a start button, because the dog is offering to allow you to touch by being still and standing straight. Okay, so once you've trained them to be still and stand straight, then you can start to use their stillness as an indication of whether or not it's okay for you to continue with whatever it is you're trying to do. Is that too complicated? So you train it first, and then once you've got it trained, come here, darling, get where they can see you. Good girl. Go that way. Stand. Stand. So if she's standing still, she gives me permission to do things, and then I can practice things like pinching, really pinching with my fingernails, really hard, and that's preparing her for injections. I can practice lifting a tail, okay, and if she starts to move, I'm going to stop. I'm going to say, can you still do it? And she says yes. Yes, okay. So we're having a communication. Movement stops me from carrying on, but if she moves, she doesn't get the reward. So she wants to get that reward. She wants me to do it, but also I'm giving her the power to say it's too scary right now. That thing you're doing is too hard. All right, so let's see how far you can take it. Don't push them. If they're saying no and they're moving away, take it back to a level that they're coping with. If they start getting silly and grabby and overexcited, give them a break. Okay, movement should switch you off and tell you to do it less or to stop. And if she's getting really upset and sitting all of the time, Jude, back off a bit. Tell her you can get it for something a little bit less. Because we want them to be confident and we want them to choose to have those interactions rather than being forced. So we can take this a bit further. We can do a little thing that will also help Maria with the licking. I don't know whether or not you've been exposed or if I've spoken to you about Chirag Patel's bowl game. So the bowl game is a game where you have a bowl of treats, but the dog's not allowed to touch the bowl. So we've already done, so it's the bucket game, sorry, for Chirag. The bowl game we've already done, haven't we? Teaching them don't grab, don't move towards that bowl. Now we're going to reward them if they look at it. So if they look at the bowl, yes, we go into the bowl and get them a treat. So let me see if I put the bowl there, maybe you can see where she's looking. She says, come here, look. Yeah. Yes. Too busy looking at me? Yes. Yes. Little one, won't it? Yes, very much a patience game. Once you've got them focused on the bowl, so I can cheat. Can you put your chin on there? And I can pretend that that's working. Chin on. Chin. Wait. Once you've got them focused on the bowl, then you've got two hands. If they remove their attention from the bowl, that tells you that you need to stop whatever it is you're doing. Yes. All right. So we're giving them control. We're giving them a way of saying, stop what you're doing. So start button procedures, which is girls called Eve and Emily, or Emily. If you want to learn more about those start button procedures, it's a way of giving your dog the ability to say no, which builds their confidence in their ability to cope. All right, so if you've got a bowl and you want to start, you can start with the bowl game where we do that. If you can look at it, but if you move towards it, you're not going to get reinforced. Yes. So holding themselves back slightly from it. Yes. All right. And then when you've decided that you're going to actually let it go, put it somewhere that's level with their head so that they can stand squarely. Yes. And that they can allow you then to start moving. When you start moving, all of your movements, we're going to introduce a little bit. Yes, if they can keep the focus on the bowl, then they get a marker and they get a reward. So if you can ignore this hand moving, she says I can't just now. Yes. All right, so that's what I want you to have a go at. Tiny movements to begin with. We want them to learn to ignore the stuff that you're doing and choose to stare at the bowl instead. You can start with the bowl in your hand if it's easier, because they're more likely to look towards the bowl if it's in your hand, because they're used to looking at hands. She's absolutely focused on the bowl now. Yes. She's just like, yes. She says, I've got it. I know what you're on about. Yes. 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 That's very well done, Jill. That's working nicely for you, isn't it? That's good. Oh. Yes. She's a good girl. All right. Yeah, we're done for a bit. Good girl. You go and lay down. Go and lay down. I saw you push it just that little bit further then, Maria. And that's, I mean, we've got to try, haven't we? But you could see her going, you could see the intention to move. She started to shuffle. And we need to be very aware that shuffle means it's getting too hard. We're really looking for the stillness. All right. So that's, I love the bowl game. I love the fact that it relieves having to have one hand tied up. And it's a choices game. It's a freedom game. The dog can choose to engage, or they can choose to say, oh, that's too hard. I can't do that. You know, so it's a massive communication game between the two of you. So don't worry if you're not getting it straight away. Twiggy, I gave up with it when I first started it with Twiggy. I kept her on the law, or I kept her on the hand touch when I first started doing it, because when I tried the bowl game, she was like, no, I look at you. I don't. Why should I look at the bowl? You keep telling me not to look at food. I focus on you. And we spend so long teaching them to focus on us, actually teaching them to focus on something else. That's quite a difficult concept for them. So did you enjoy that? Have you got any comments about that? Does anyone want to talk to me? I saw Judith.
I love training these sort of things and getting.
Oh, we've lost you again. Your
them
internet.
to
Your internet's playing up, babe.
I
Sorry.
think it's clicking with me now. I think that's been the issue, is it's not gone in with me, and now it is starting to.
Yeah. And I think the thing is, it's massive. It's taken, I mean, how long have I been studying it? You know, 25 years or something. And I'm still learning. You know, I'm still going to see things and I think, well, why didn't I ever do it that way? And the knowledge is changing as well. You know, that we know more about how learning actually happens, how it's processed through the brain. And the more we know, the more we need to adapt how we train. So, but yeah, I mean, I saw that Sid got it. Jill, I think, of everybody, and I know Maria's a wonderful expert anyway, so we saw some really good stuff from Maria there. But Jill, you really got that. And I could see that she was understanding. She was actually actively choosing to stare at the food rather than get distressed or worried or upset about what you were doing. You could see her making those choices. That was really nice. Yeah. Yeah, good. What should we do? Because my brain's gone dead. Any other ideas of stuff we can do? There's a dog on the windowsill. She says, I just get the food myself, Mummy. Little monkey. One of my friends.
We're having real problems with barking, but because of our house, she sits at a glass door all day watching people go by, and the barking's getting worse and worse, and we haven't got anywhere to put her away from that.
Okay, so 2 options with that. You can buy window cover, a opaque window cover. We've got some, I don't know if you've noticed, but at Types on the patio doors, there's an opaque cover, and it there's no glue. It holds itself on by water tension. It does no damage. You could take it off whenever you like, and it's dead cheap. So one of the things I would do, if there's nowhere else to put her where she's not got access to that window, so you can prevent her from practicing the behavior, then cover the window for a while. Yeah, so that you're blocking that view. The other thing is Kiko Pup has got a really nice video. You just brought it to mind, and I'm just searching for it. We'll see whether or not we can find the video, and I can give you a link for it. Oh yeah, there we go. So I'm straight on it. She's redone a lot of her videos.
This video is on the topic of solving the issue of your dog.
So I'll just get you that link, if I can find it. There you go. So I'm going to stick that on the WhatsApp page. Because I was always a big Kiko Pup fan, an Emily Larland fan, but I think since she's redone her videos and she's brought it all together, I think it's loads better. You know, I found her format a little bit difficult to it's not connecting. I found her format a little bit difficult to follow, and her voice on her original videos a little bit irritating. So now I think I'm a big fan, especially the new stuff. Why is it not connecting? Oh, there we go, we're in. Okay, so there's the Kiko Pup video for you. And I know it's not just noises that she's barking at, it's the visual as well. But if we work on one at a time, so if you block the visual stimuli so that you're just working on the noises initially, and then you can start to reintroduce the visual side of it. And some people have a curtain or a curtain apparatus fitted so they can close it and then they can open it, so that if the dog's barking, whoop, you've lost your ability to watch. Because quite often for dogs that are barking at outside stimulus, it's because it's something to do. It's a bit like us watching telly. It's something to do, it's entertaining. So quite often as well, if you can give them something else to think about and focus on. So I had a big problem with Dodo. He was saying there was a squirrel, and we had a squirrel, that's what it was, and the pigeons. And because the squirrel was new, he got interested and excited in monitoring the patio doors onto the garden. And that's on my living room, so that's where we're always going to be. And once he decided that he needed to watch for the squirrel, then he noticed the pigeons, which were there, and he'd learned to ignore the pigeons. The pigeons weren't important. And then, of course, because he was already quite intent and he was focusing and he was paying attention in case the squirrel or the pigeons came, he learned that the blackbirds were something that he could also get excited by. And we got to this kind of raising issue. So what I did was I closed the curtains, and every time he was up trying to get through the curtains, I'd distract him and bring him away and give him something else to focus on. And now we're getting to the point where I can have the curtains open, but if I see him starting to get too interested in focusing on the window, then the curtains closed again. So we're sort of working through that. You can have access. I want him to be able to watch, because I don't want to take his telly away. But likewise, I don't want him sitting there shouting at the telly. Yeah? If you think about the guys watching sports and things, yeah, what are you doing on that? And it's very much the same. How's that? Is that all right? Grand. Anyone else? Should we just, oh, there we go. Go on then.
I know, I'm sorry. So Rem's anxiety thing, it seems to be getting worse. I don't know if it's still to do with her age or whatever, or maybe I'm not doing something right. But it's like now she's gotten scared of the dark, and it's not great at night. And like if there's anybody even coming towards us that she doesn't know, that's it. She's completely lost her head. Like I can't even stop her now. She'll literally like start lunging and everything. Not she'll just pull, and it's like I can't even get her off to the side to move her out the way anymore. It's just she will not move.
Okay, how old is she now?
She's 1 and a month nearly.
So she is probably still adolescence. What I would do, I'm just trying to find you a link. It's an impulse control, it's your choice game. I don't know if that's going to be a good link, but I'll copy that and share it just in case. It might not be a useful one. What I would do, and what I had to do with Tyke when he was going through the same stage, is avoid those situations where things have happened before, or where you think they're likely to happen again. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be permanently unable to go into those situations. It just means that at the moment she's so sensitive that the chances are she'll practice the wrong behaviors. So I know you can't walk in the dark, but I did have to walk at stupid o'clock when there was likely to be no people and no other dogs, or go to places where other people generally don't go. So places like industrial parks, where you're not likely to see other people or other dogs usually. So there's places that aren't particularly nice for us to walk either, though, to be honest. So in the dark, it's your choice. You know, if she doesn't want to go, is she holding herself back from going to the toilet as well?
So she'll go out, she'll realise it's dark and start yowling at the top of her voice, like proper howling. And then she'll run around, like starting to get quite panicky, still howling, and then come bolting back inside, run in here, howl a bit more, look outside again, then hide under the sofa.
So are you aware of any other trigger other than it just being the dark? So it might be that there's other noises that are happening that are predicted by the dark.
I think also because our neighbours leave their window open at night, she can hear them. And so and then also the dog next door, she's got a bit of anxiety, so she barks at night as well. And I think it's just all kind of like Rem's like, okay, there's too many things that I can't, like, it's scarier at this time of night than any other time, but yeah.
Right. So the way I would do that is, obviously Twiggy had fireworks phobia, and she linked that with the dark as well, because it's you know, November, it tends to be dark earlier, and the whole pattern, the whole picture involved the dark. So what I would do is I wouldn't get involved. You step out into the garden, you don't look at her, you're not interested, have something to fiddle with, you know, whether you want to. I've got a tree, I used to stand and peel the bark off my peely bark tree. And then they start to kick off and worry and be silly, and they run in, and that's fine. You carry on doing what you're doing. You're not interested. You're not going to try and talk them through it. If they then, and they do usually, come out because they're curious as to why you're not coming in. So when you've got that curiosity, and curiosity being the opposite fear, then you give them something amazing, and then you come in with them. Okay, so you go out, she goes, oh, we can't be out here, wah, wah, wah. Just let it all happen. She'll run in, you stay where you are, you're doing what you're doing. And when she finally calms down and comes out and says, why are you still out here, you go, have a load of treats, and then go in. Does that make sense? So my best experience with that was Tyke was also very scared of fireworks. We eventually got to the stage where he really wasn't. He either thought, great, fireworks, cheese balls, yay, or he'd kind of go, not sure, but I'm not going to panic, I'm going to think about it. And this one very clear experience, and it was a daytime one, you know, so daytime fireworks, very unpredictable, and threw him a little bit. And I was potting a plant. I was down on my knees potting a plant, and this firework went off, and my instinct was to look around to see if Tyke was okay. And I went, no, gonna pot the plant. Really forced myself, yeah? And he came up and he sniffed the side of my face for a full 20 seconds. Did you not hear that there was a firework? What the hell are you doing? You're still standing there. And I continued to completely blank him. I didn't refer to him, I didn't talk to him, I didn't say anything at all. And then he just went and walked off and carried on being normal. All right? So we don't want to make it worse by giving attention to it. But when they finally push themselves through it, we need to say, very well done. And now we can have that break. Now we can come away from that situation. Yeah. And it's very much the same with that reactivity. If you do get caught in a situation, it is a case of stand still, hold on, and wait for them to realize that they're acting like a plonker. If you can't move them, if anything you do makes the situation worse, stop doing stuff. Does that make sense? It's not easy, but yeah, in the meantime, yeah, I think it probably is still adolescence. If it gets really stupid, then we might have to consider giving her something to help her to be a bit calmer about life. So things that you can get naturally are skullcap and valerian tablets are really nice. They're very chilling, or anything with valerian in it. Lavender's sometimes good for dogs. Pet Remedy, which again is a valerian extract. Things like the Adaptil, sometimes they will help to just chill them out. Things like Zilkine tablets, which is L-Caisonine, sometimes will help them calm down. Things with L-Theanine in, again, you can get all of these from Holland and Barrett. So, you know, you don't have to go for real drugs, but if she's really not improving over the course of time, and we'll start to think she's not in the adolescence phase anymore, so she doesn't have that excuse, then you start looking at the medication lines to try and help her to feel less excited about those situations. Yeah? All right. Is that okay? Yeah. Anyone else then? We've got 5 whole minutes. Should we just do a little bit of position work? Because we like that, don't we? Position and movement, like we have been doing for the last few weeks. So we've got, hopefully if you've been practicing, you've now got a dog who kind of thinks that being in that position next to you is a really good idea. Hello, darling. Are you ready? I've run out of treats nearly. Nearly. Come here. All right. So we've got a dog who thinks that being in that position right next to you, right up on your body, come here, dog, is a good idea, and that they're happy for you to move, and they're going to try and move back into that position, to move back to that hand. Now we can start to do things like doing your quarter turn with your feet. So remember, one foot moves and then the other foot joins it. So that's what I'm doing. I want you to do a circle. Let's see if I can get my feet on camera. So I'm doing those two things together. Get your dog's head up here and now turn, turn. Yeah, and you can reward as often as you like. We're just going to do a full circle with the dog on the left, to the right, with one foot, move the other, and keeping her nose in contact all the way around. Have a go. Let's have a look and see. Okay. So the position needs to be that wherever your body is, they're trying to keep their body straight and in close contact with your leg. Kicking balls doesn't help. So remember, when you reward with your hand in contact with your body, so that they're really pushing themselves up and into the cup of your hand to get that reward and to keep their body straight. And again, if you're having trouble keeping them straight, use an object so that they're not practicing swinging their back ends around. So use a sofa or a wall or something to block that turning behavior. That's beautiful, Andrea. It's hard when you start thinking of your own feet as well as keeping your hand in the right position. And remember, you can get the dog off your leg, and remember when and where you reward is what's going to tell the dog whether or not they've got it right. So if you've got lots of jumping up and grabbing, sometimes rewarding more often, but being very specific about what you're rewarding for and making sure you're rewarding in exactly the right place is going to be what it takes for the dog to understand what you're actually asking for. Okay, and I just want to do a little fun game, which we've done before, but we're just going to do again. Come here, babe. Going to get the dog behind you and through your legs. Yeah? Come on up here. And I want you to see if you can reward. Got food in both hands. Come here. She finds this uncomfortable because she only just fits. Look. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm going to pull her forward a little bit, and then I'm going to pull her head up and back with the treats until her head is on my belly. And then I'm going to try and work on getting her head and body straighter. Yeah. So pull all the way forward. Come here. And up and back. She says, do what? Now I tell you what I'm doing wrong. I'm saying the word back because, yeah, we trained the word back, didn't we? Look at that. That's the cutest picture in the world. I love that. If someone could take a snapshot, that would be great. Oh, it's too late. You ready? Come on. Yes. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes, I'll take that. Go back. Good girl. Come here. Yes. She's determined to be twisted. I don't know if it's because her feet are behind her or touching something. She doesn't want to back onto it. So we'll play with that game again and see if we can get that a bit better. And Andrea, you've got the same problem I do. Tall dog, short person. It's easier, I think, if your dog's smaller. Although Maria's got it. She's clearly got longer legs than us lot. There's loads of room between you and your dog. How do you manage that? She's not that tall, is she? Okay. Once you've got that, I've got to go get some more food. But once you've got that, we can start introducing the idea of moving together in that position, which I'm not sure Twiggy's going to do. She's feeling uncomfortable about the whole. Tell you what, you go lay down. We'll let the old girl have a go. We'll see how far we get. I'm going to lose my fingers. Maybe it's not known for her. She's very grabby. Okay. Here's May. Nice and straight. She used to love this. And now we're going to move forward slightly. And the aim is that the treat stays in the same place. Okay. Move back slightly. See if they can move that backward. Move forward. So your legs move, but the treat stays in the same place. So where they get rewarded stays the same. Very well done, little old lady. Maria says we do this all the time. And Jill, you've been practicing putting paws on your feet, and I love that. I can see that. And I'm a little bit jealous of that because I've tried doing that with Twiggy and Twiggy really doesn't get it at all. Look at her. She's put her paws on her feet. So we can have a go at that, seeing as Jill set the benchmark for us. I'll have another bash. I think the problem with getting it with Twiggy is that she's too tall, that by the time I try and move her head. Let's see if we can have another go. You go in there. Lay down. Twig, come here. Twiggy. Twiggy. Come here. Can you go around? No, that's not it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you get them straight, and then what you're going to do, and I think the problem is that by the time she's between my legs, I can't actually get my legs in close enough. But what you do is you stretch their head so far that eventually they have to move their foot onto your foot. So for her, we're just physically not compatible to learn this. So let me have a go with Maybe. Come here, darling. You go lay down.
You need Leanne with Twiggy.
Yeah, absolutely. So with May, I can get my feet I can get my feet closer and I can stretch her head until her foot moves and touches my foot. Now the difficulty with her is, can you see she's not coping with the slippery floor, and I'm not going to ask her to do that. She's loving the working with me thing, but at the same time, you go lay down. Lay down. Boogie down. Good. May. Don't want it to slip too much. But if you can get their feet on, so it's a case of stretching their head up and over to one side until they lose balance, and they'll try and move a foot to resettle themselves. And you can mark and reward for, yes, Judith's got it, well done. And you keep doing that until they're super confident, and then what you're going to do is stay still, but raise one of your feet slightly, mark while their foot is still in contact with your foot, and reward, and then practice raising the other foot. So they get used to that sensation, and because we've done paw targeting, then they should start to understand it's when my paws are on your feet, that's when you're going to get marked and rewarded. She's nearly got it, Leanne. So close. Yes, good. And then you're going to stretch the other. So you get one foot glued to your foot. You're going to stretch the other foot. Then you're going to start teaching them. Keep your paws on even when that surface moves. And then you're going to start actually moving your feet forward without falling over. So one little trick that I had for this, if you've got a chair with spindly legs like Judith's got, where your dog can fit underneath and you can sit, then it's easier for you to teach them to put their paws on your feet as a targeting exercise while you're sitting. But you're on it, you've got it. Show off. Judith is a show off. And Jill's actually really, really good at this, but we can't see Jill so well because she's got her dark shoes on and a dark dog and dark jeans. So I think Jill was as good, if not slightly better, than we're just seeing from Judith and Tilly at the moment. Okay, beautiful. Annual super. Okay, let's go on, unmute yourself. Let's have a chatter for no reason whatsoever.
No, that's my jumper. That's my jumper.
Did you feel that you were going to get into that position eventually, Leanne?
Yeah, it was just, I think, because I wear the fluffiest in the world, and I don't think she quite likes the fluffy slippers.
I think, have you been practicing that? You're really good at that. Jill.
Sorry, was that me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that my computer keeps going. Actually, no, I haven't. She just did that. And she was really good at it. She just kept doing it, putting her feet on and just keeping her feet on while I was moving forwards. It was just unbelievable, really. And she just kept doing it.
You found her forte.
Yes. Yeah, she didn't mind that at all, and lifting my foot up as well. She kept her paw on there while I was lifting my foot actually off the floor. So yeah, she did really well.
I think is Artie okay, Sammy?
Yeah, he's fine. Just having a bit of love, aren't you?
Says, why are you talking now? What's that all about?
Come on then. Hug up.
You've been sitting quiet. Why are you suddenly talking?
You're all right, boy, aren't you?
What's your face for you?
Oh.
Oh, where are you going?
Mama.
I've just noticed there's dogs on telly.
On there. You see Julie on there? Can you see her? I don't know that you can see. Can you see? Can you see?
Let's have some dogs on telly. Come here. Hold up, please. Come here.
Can't have mine on telly. She's gone onto the sofa next to Jim, curled up and gone to sleep, I think. I think it's all worn out.
Training morning.
All this training's hard work.
Yeah.
She's just gone up there. She's curled up now and she's going to sleep.
Missy will do that in a minute.
Yeah, so will Tilly. Yeah.
Twiggy says, I don't want to be up here. I don't like that my feet slide on the desk. And I don't really like putting my paws on your knee because I know that you complain. She can feel that I don't really like it because it hurts. So she won't stay up for long. All right, so I'm going to take myself back to the sofa.
Hope you feel better soon.
Yes.
I don't feel bad. I think not now. I was probably a couple of days ago, I felt really muscle achy and headachy and stuff. I think now it's more the anxiety of what if it is, you know, the whole what if it is COVID, because it doesn't help that one of my friends said, well, I didn't feel too bad, and then it slowly came on and got worse and worse, and I'm like, thanks.
My friends have both had it, and they just got little aches and pains, but nothing significant. And one of them's type 1 diabetic, one's got MS. So it's so arbitrary that most people get away with just feeling a little bit grotty.
No. I mean, I'm kind of semi hoping that I've had it, because then that means that hopefully I'll have a little bit of immune protection to it, you know. It's just,
Well, we'll all be having our injections soon.
I've had mine.
Had mine.
did you get
I'm
any?
that old, I've had mine.
Did you get any side effects, Jill?
No, apart from I had the Pfizer one, and apart from a bit of a sore arm,
No.
and raising my arm was a bit painful. But apart from that, I was absolutely fine. And Jim's had his with working at the hospital, and he didn't really have any side effects at all. So no, we've been fine.
Good.
I've not had my 21 days yet, so I'm not, you know, I've only about a week and a half ago I had mine. So but yeah.
Not in a minute.
So fingers crossed it helps.
I got my first invitation to my normal flu jab this year. I'm like, oh, so that means I'm old now then.
Can't really remember. I had mine today. I had mine this year. Well, end of last year, my first flu injection.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I had mine as well, and that was my first one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Anyway,
yeah, sitting there smugly.
Sorry, guys.
I apologise.
I've got my letter to my first smear test. So there you go.
First?
Yeah. I'm not 25 yet.
yeah,
How old are you?
I'm 24.
Oh, right. Is that when they start?
They start at 25. I'll be 25 a little bit later on in the year. So yeah.
Oh, wow.